Day, Bengals fans. This is the Bengals Pulse, the faint heartbeat of your Cincinnati Bengals. In a game that had no Joe Burrow and had no Jamar Chase, we saw Yoshi Voss go down with an injury. We lost T. Higgins to a suspected concussion, and yet the Bengals still had a chance. And if it wasn't for two iffy non-pass interference calls there at the end of the game, the Bengals almost had it, but fall to the Patriots 26-20, dropping us to 3-7 on the season, and
3-8.
what feels like a hopeless season, or point in the season. Instant reactions. Let's go to we got Mon here in video. We got Jake is rushing home to get on video. Thanks for joining, Jake. Mon, why don't you give us your instant thoughts first?
Yeah, it's frustrating. It's funny. The defense starts playing a little better, and the offense stumbles a little bit. They both showed flashes of great play. Then of course, they reverted back to some of the ugliness. Um, I'm disappointed. I'm going to tell you, it's hard to blame Zach Taylor because his offenses have been pretty solid the last couple of years, arguably top five in the NFL. Excuse me, but his situational play calling is horrible. 3rd and 1 in the fourth quarter, a ball at the 49-yard line. He tries a pass, incomplete. 4th and 1, he tries to get them to jump off sides, and he punts. Okay, that was the ball game. That was literally the ball game because they came down. They ran 7 minutes off the clock and ended up kicking a field goal. And I just hate it. Was chicken shit football. It was chicken shit football by Zach Taylor, and I just absolutely hate it. I hate it. He is a terrible situational play caller. I don't know. I know he was undermanned. He didn't have his star receivers. Kudos for fighting. I salute you, but man, it's a loss. It's just 2025 Bengals. You just can't make it up. It's mind-boggling.
So just to add that on to this before I go to Jake, it's not just situational play calling, it is situational decision making. He dropped the ball before the game. We got so confident in how well Joe Flacco had been playing. He didn't look at last week and say, you know what? Maybe Joe Flacco that we saw in those first few games was an anomaly. Maybe we need to get Burrow in there because he is frickin' Superman. Instead, he says, take 3 more days off because that's really going to help you in this must-win game. Zach Taylor, situational play caller, situational decision maker, after this team over today because with Joe Burrow, we win that game by 21 points. Jake, what are your initial thoughts?
Yeah, it's tough, man. I mean, Mon said it. This team just cannot get it together. There's absolutely zero complementary football this year. Either the offense is on, or the defense is off, or the defense is on, the offense is off. It's just terrible complementary football, and you can't win when you don't have complementary football. This team, Zach Taylor. I mean, again, I don't know what else we can say about him as a head coach, but he obviously has to go. And this team now is hanging on by a thread. I've said it before. If this team doesn't make the playoffs, Zach Taylor has to be fired. Um, this whole team, besides Jamar and T and Joe and some of those pieces we have in place, Chase Brown, those guys. Uh, they need to blow up this roster and go out and get some serious football players. Again, we saw Geno Stone make a great play, on the pick six, and then we saw him right back to his normal self. We're not covering the tight end on defense, and offensively, obviously, you guys covered it. Zach Taylor is a terrible situational play caller. Mon, you're 100% right. We lost that football game when Zach Taylor punted on 4th and 1. That's when we lost the football game. We didn't lose it there at the end. Zach Taylor he's a coward and a chicken shit. He's the reason why we're 3-8.
3rd and 1. 3rd and 1, and he tries a pass play. Run it twice. Give your
Yeah.
defense a break. They're on the ropes a little bit. Run it. You can get a yard. Okay. Guess what? You're in their territory. You control it. You're taking time off the clock. Run the ball. Run the ball. This guy is so freaking weird, man.
Chase Brown
He's
had,
so
hey,
weird.
listen, at that point, I think Chase Brown had over 100 yards rushing at that point.
Man, he is
I
so
mean,
bizarre. He is so
again, you're running the football with ease, against the number one rush defense in the NFL. And like you said, Mon, you try to throw a slip screen to the running back on 3rd and 1. It's just awful. There's no other way to put it. It's 3rd and 1. You run the ball twice, and if you don't get a first down, then you don't deserve to get one. But throwing a slip screen, and then, like you said, Mon, the whole series of events afterwards, you're trying to get him to jump off sides and you punt. It's chicken shit football. I'm over the Zack Taylor thing. I'm done with him.
It Yeah, well, he he's too cute when he doesn't need to be cute. Like Mon said, when you're running the ball so well, he wants to be that tendency breaker. He wants to be that guy that throws the touchdown pass on 3rd and 1, throws that 50-yard touchdown pass. You know what? This is AFC North football. I know we're not playing like we're playing outside of our division, but you still got to play AFC North football. You got to come up and punch people in the mouth. 3rd and 1, you should get 3 yards. At least get half a yard and then try it again. He's too cutesy when he needs to get up there and punch people in the face, and then he tries to punch people in the face when he needs to be cutesy. He just needs to. I don't know. I don't think he could cut it out here coaching in high school football in Florida. He would get run off the field.
You know, there are there are 32 starting quarterbacks in the NFL. All 32 of these starting quarterbacks, if you give them 4, 5, 6 seconds back in the pocket, they're going to find somebody wide open. I don't care how good your defense is. This Bengal pass rush isn't getting there. I sent a text blitz. Hey, man, I mean, they're going to convert anyway. Blitz.
So
You're
let's
giving up explosive plays. Just blitz. And guess what happened? They blitz on one down, and it should have been a pick six. DJ Turner
let's
was that close to picking that ball off and going the
yeah.
whole way.
Let's talk about that a little bit more because I can't say that this whole game is on the defense because once again the defense only gave up 19 points. We did give up another pick six. So the defense gave up 20 points last week, 19 points this week. But the Patriots lost three offensive linemen and still we had no pass rush. How is that fathomable that we can't get pressure when they're down? Are their backup offensive linemen that much better than our starting defensive linemen? I just can't believe it.
At least I won $200 on Hard Rock.
Oh, you didn't bet against us, did you? Did you
No, I
cover the
took the
spread? We
point.
covered
I
the
took the
spread,
points.
right?
Listen to this. Yeah, I did. I took the Bengals, Giants, and Jets, and I took the points, and I won 219. Life is good.
Oh, oh no, life is that's your moral victory, Mon. Mon's got that mustache conditioning cream now because he got his parlay. Jake,
It,
is our defensive line that bad that we can't get any pressure against three backup linemen? I mean, they were
it's
decimated
terrible.
out there.
It's terrible. I mean, again, this is something we've just talked about over and over and over, and Miles Murphy. I don't even know. I don't even know what to say about him anymore. I mean, Cedric Johnson is so much better of a football player than Miles Murphy. So much better, obviously. I mean, this defensive line for the Bengals is absolutely atrocious. Joseph Osai, those guys. I mean, Montex. I think I missed a little bit because I just got into my house, but um, I think Mon had said something about blitzing more. I know he texted us about blitzing more. This team refuses to do it, but look what happens when they do. Geno Stone on a big blitz on 3rd down. The Bengals make a stop, and even toward the end on that last series, we almost had a pick there by DJ Turner. But then they rushed 4 on 3rd and 10 at the end of the game, and Drake May's got literally 5 minutes to throw the football. It's ridiculous, man. It's so hard to blame the defense in this game because the defense guys, and really even you could even say last week the defense only gave up 20 points. 2 weeks in a row the defense has played okay. I mean, as a coach, you still have to look at it as the defense is still allowing them to pick up first downs, and they're, we had to make a goal line stand, and we're still letting teams drive the football pretty easily on us. There's wide receivers and tight ends wide open. I think I text about 8 times, somebody please cover a tight end. Either the wide receivers for the Patriots didn't hurt us at all. It was the tight ends. I think Hunter Henry had over 100 yards receiving, and you should never give up 100 yards receiving to a tight end. It's that's not good football. So I mean, still a lot of issues on defense, but this was a Zach Taylor special. I mean, this was, you got everything you would want to see from Zach Taylor. Shitty play calling, especially situational play calling by Zach Taylor. Um, Terrible game management. I mean, these are the kind of things that align with the Bengals needing to move on from Zach Taylor. He's just not a winner. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. He's not a winner.
So let's talk about it because I texted it out there, I tweeted it out there. Joe Burrow wins this game by at least 2 touchdowns. Is this not on Zach Taylor? Maybe he was told by Mike Brown no, but Zach made the decision not to bring Burrow out there. You have to factor in the fact that Joe Burrow coming back from injury is still so much better than a 40-year-old Joe Flacco. I get it if Joe Flacco lit him up last week, we go with the hot hand, and it looks like we lost Jake. But Flacco didn't have the hot hand last week. He didn't have it this week. Mon, what do you think? Burrow wins this game handedly?
Um, I think if Chase is out there, we win it. I do. I don't know about handedly. I,
Well,
I would
Burrow
much
doesn't
rather.
throw that pick six.
I would
Burrow
rather have.
never throws
I
that pick
would rather
six.
have Burrow out there than an injured Flacco right now. I'm just frustrated. I'm reading some of the comments. I'm sorry, I was a little preoccupied here. You know, Jake is back. He just wanted to log on his computer. What gets me the most is I get it. There's some fans are like, how can you blame Zach? There's some on Twitter and X and all that. If you look at the data, yeah, our offense has scored so many points. It's been electric, this, that, and this. I'm sorry. This may be super cynical on Mon, but there's a lot of offensive coordinators could get a lot of production from our skill group. A lot of them could. They really could. I'm not trying to downplay Zach as offensive genius. A lot of players can do that. His play calling is so bizarre and wonky and goofy. Not He is spineless. 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, and he punts. Ball game. People are at my house. They all said it. Ball game right there. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And you're right, Jake. Our defense, we don't have the horses. We don't have enough good players. They played over their head a little bit today. They played better. Hats off to Al Golden getting a little more out of them. You know what the best organizations in football have? They have top level GMs and top level coaching. We don't have either one of those. We have GMs and we
Yeah.
have a coach that got to a Super Bowl. And, I think it inflated his persona a little bit. He's not a top
Yeah.
level coach. If Zach Taylor was let go by the Bengals today, he would not be a top interview candidate for any openings coming up this year. He would not. Zach Taylor would not be on the top 5 list of any team looking for a coach to interview.
Would he even be on the top five of coordinator? Maybe for offensive coordinator. But you have to, like you said, you have to have one or the other because this is with the salary cap. This is a league of mediocrity. You can't have every single player out there. You can't have an LA Dodgers. You can't have a Toronto Blue Jays. You can't go spend your way to a championship. You have great players, and then you have a lot of good players and you have some okay players, and you have to have those coaches that can coach them up and get them to go out there and get them to win games. And Zach has proven time and time they can't. The problem with this is, and some people say the season's over, don't play Burrow, all this, he shouldn't be out there today, he shouldn't be out there on Thursday. This AFC is not very good this year. Yes, the Ravens won today, but they are tied with the Steelers 6-5, leading our division. We win that game today. We were only 2 games back. Outside of that, the Chiefs are in overtime. They're battling. They could lose this game. I'm not sure. I haven't looked at the score, but they had to go to overtime today. This even a wild card could be possible at 9-8. It's just not the time to give up, even though we were sitting here with 7 losses, and yet it sure felt like Zach said, we're just punting on the season because we don't somehow it's gonna be better if Joe waits till Thursday. I get it if you're saying Joe can't play Sunday and he can't play Thursday, but if you trot him out on here on Thursday, then shame on you because there's no reason he could play today and Thursday.
He was never going to play today. He was never going to play. All this hubbub, all this full practice and everything, I think Thursday or the following week he's going to play. People aren't at the stadium. People are selling their tickets. People are doing this. It's a way to, hey, maybe we can get 1,000 people back at the stadium or 2,000. Yeah, Mon's being cynical. That's the way I feel. Okay, it's a PR stunt. It was a PR stunt by the Bengals. I do want to see Joe play this year. I know this season it's grim. The chances of them going on a big run is going to be tough. I still want Joe Burrow to come in and play. He has a legacy. It's going to help him springboard him potentially to 2026. Yeah, man. It's just trying to process this game. I haven't even looked at the stats. I don't even know what the stat lines are. I haven't even looked at anything. I don't know what Chase Brown finished with. It sucks. It sucks that T's not going to be available Thursday night. If he's in concussion protocol, there's no way he's going to play Thursday.
No way he can play if that's I didn't see any update. I think X is having issues because nothing was updating for me, so I didn't get any, wasn't able to follow along with anybody that was in the stadium. That to me looked like a concussion. So you would think there's no way he plays on Thursday. So we're looking at getting Jamar back, possibly Burrow, and not having T Higgins, which is, that's going to hurt. And not to mention, and I know we probably put it out on X and whatnot there. But what the hell, Jermaine Burton? This is a Jermaine Burton game. You lose Yoshi, you lose T, and somehow a guy that was a third round pick just last year, you didn't call him up. You didn't even give him an opportunity to come out here and do anything. We need to just cut the guy. Mon, you had a good takeout on this. Tell us why the Bengals didn't just cut Jermaine Burton. This is ridiculous. Waste of a third round pick and waste of a roster spot right now if they're going to keep him out there. Why don't you give us your perspective on why they're not cutting him?
I don't. The reason that they don't want to cut him, I mean, they think he's marketable. They think potentially in the offseason they can get a 6th or 7th round pick for him. I don't know. I don't know. I think they're afraid he's going to go to another team and ball out, and it's going to make them look bad. They all have egos in that front office, and they're going to. I just don't get it. I really don't. I mean, if his attitude and what he's doing behind closed doors is that bad, just cut him. He's a healthy scratch at a position of need. They had no real speed today. No speed merchants out there. Jermaine Burton is fast. Okay. If it's that bad where you can't activate him today when your star receiver's out, you'll never activate him. Cut him. Just cut him. He must be the worst locker room cancer out there.
To rebut that, if that's the case, let him go to the Chiefs and be a cancer to that locker room. Like, if you think he's that detrimental, why are you keeping him out here? We don't just sign players and keep them on our roster just so other people can't have them. Just if that's the logic, then they just all need to be fired because that is just absolutely ridiculous. That's like one of those teachers that does something so bad that they aren't allowed to teach anymore, but they sit up in an office all day long and just collect a paycheck. It's just mind-boggling. Just another thing of this front office. We got a super chat here from 513 Art Dog. Appreciate the super chat. Says Zach gets damn near all the blame, but Duke put this together. Duke should have been fired with Marvin. This team looks different if Zach could have brought someone from the Rams or another team. I mean, I think Zach was a Duke call. Duke brought Zach in, right? So Duke's stamp is on this whole team, but he's also on Zach Taylor. And he had to be involved in the decision last year to say, okay, Zach, go ahead and fire some people. We'll give you another year. You guys got any opinions on this? Who's the more blame?
Yeah, I know we've talked about it. Jake thinks he's gone, and everybody's talked about it on our pod, on the opposing podcast. Local beat writers, national guys. I'm just going to give you my opinion. If the Bengals go 3-14, I think he'll probably get fired. Okay, but they're going to end up winning 5 games, 6 games total this year, and the Bengals don't want to rip it up and start all over. They brought in a defensive coordinator. They want to give him more than a year. They probably will, on the down low, acknowledge they don't have enough pieces for him. They're going to go out, give him more pieces. And if Al Golden stays at defensive coordinator, that means Zack Taylor's staying. And I think it's going to be a lot of the same old, same old. These conversations we have on every podcast, we're going to have them next year at this time. It's a systemic problem. It's a systemic problem. It is. I was going to post this, but then I realized, my brother told me and my wife, you've posted that 100 times in the last 2 years. I post the Rams. I post about the Los Angeles Rams. How they went all in, traded multiple draft picks to win a Super Bowl. They got their Super Bowl. The Rams are supposed to be where the Bengals are now, rebuilding or struggling. What are the Rams? The Rams are NFL contender. They rebuilt a roster without first and second round picks for 2 years. They rebuilt a roster without third round picks for like one of those years also. 4th, 5th, 6th round picks are all pros and stars. That's what that front office did. We have 9 top 100 draft picks on defense. 9 NFL draft picks that were in the first, second, and third round, and we're getting marginal production from them. DJ Turner's a hit. I name a couple more. I can't. And think about that. Yeah, we can blame Duke Tobin. I get it. He drafted him. But at this coaching staff, you're getting 9 guys that were drafted really high, and you can't get more out of them. Duke Tobin's not coaching. He's supplying with talent. It's not just on one guy. And I think Duke deserves most of the blame. Don't give Zack Taylor a free pass.
Yeah, no.
Free pass.
No. And sorry, guys, my phone kept dropping me, but I'm glad to be back on here. First of all, 513, thank you so much for the super chat, man. We really appreciate that. Listen, I know it feels like Duke put this thing together, but I'm with Mon here. I don't see how you can give Zack Taylor a free pass. Zack Taylor, guys, has made a lot of decisions as far as bringing Al Golden on, letting releasing Lou Anarumo. That situation has not worked out. Player personnel. I mean, these guys, like Mon said, we've had numerous draft picks defensively in the top 100. We have not developed any of them. Guys, listen, Dax Hill looked like he didn't belong on the field today. He looked terrible. Dax Hill looked terrible today. Now, he's played better this year, but again, we have gotten no consistent production from any of these guys. From any of them. I mean, DJ Turner is the one that I will give this team credit for. But after DJ Turner, you can't name one defensive player on this roster right now that the Bengals drafted that is worth a shit. You just can't. There is not one of them besides DJ Turner that is worth a shit. I'm talking about these guys wouldn't even make other teams' rosters, let alone be starting for them. So, yes, Duke Tobin is the de facto GM, and I'm sure he has some say, but you cannot tell me Zack Taylor does not have say in the draft process. Guys, our coaches, Bengal fans, I don't know if you realize this, but our coaches are our scouts. So before you start blaming Duke Tobin for all of this, which he deserves a lot of the blame, just know that a lot of these draft picks were scouted by our coaches that Zack Taylor put together. This is on Zack Taylor. Before I would put it on Duke Tobin, I would put this on Zack Taylor 100%.
Let me stick up for Dax Hill a little bit. He played terrible. You're right. He gave up a lot of bad plays, the pass interference. Our backup boundary quarterbacks are Josh Newton, Marco Wilson, and DJ Ivy. Those are the listed backups on the flip guide. Nickel cornerback is Dax Hill. Dax Hill, those other guys, one got hurt. They didn't trust him, so they moved Dax Hill out there. All right, I don't know, man. This roster is so wonky and weird. It is. It's this defense, they played really well today. I'm going to say I think it's their best effort the whole year. All right, but they still, I'm just sick and tired. 3rd and 11. A 3rd and 11. The Patriots had the ball at their own 10.
Yeah.
And they converted. We tackled them for a loss. Yeah. 3rd and 11. And they convert. 37-yard completion. It led to a field. No, we actually ended up stuffing them at the 1-yard line on that drive. But it took 6 minutes off the clock.
That's what I'm saying, Mon. I mean, you even have to look at that goal line stand as, it still took 7 minutes off the clock. Guys, that's an offensive possession. So, as good as the defense played today, which, again, they did, I'm not blaming this loss on the defense. It's hard to do that. But the defense not getting off the field on 3rd and longs continuously, guys, consistently giving up 3rd and longs is killing the offensive time of possession, and it's taking away offensive possessions for this Bengals team. And I don't know if you guys talked about this because I was off air for a little bit, but again, I'm looking at this from a coaching point of view, but I love Jamar Chase, but that was a very selfish act. Because I think if Jamar Chase is on the football field today, we have a chance to truly win the football game. And again, I know it was a heat of the moment thing, and I love Jamar, but that's why you cannot do that selfish shit, man. You can't do that stuff. You cannot put yourself in those situations and put your team in a bad situation. At the end of the game, guys, imagine if Jamar Chase is in the football game. Even if T goes down, you still got Jamar. Instead, we got Mitch Tinsley, who I love, who played great today, and Yoshivas. I mean, that's it. So I think we need to make sure that we talk about Jamar and him not being in this football game today. It hurt us tremendously.
I'm not gonna. Jamar needs to be better. I agree with you.
Yeah.
But I know it's the heat of the moment. I'm not going to give Jalen Ramsey a free pass. He's a punk. He cheap shot at him and all that stuff. He chirps. Right. I don't even know if he got it doesn't make it right what Jamar did.
He got fined.
Jalen Ramsey's a whatever, man. But I want to harp back on something. I know we have another super chat here, Eric. I just want to harp back on something about potential coaching changes and just a reboot. This season's been really hard. I mean, the losses, we've had numerous blowout losses, double digit, the way we've lost. And it's just, I think the stench is in that locker room. It's just permeated the way they've lost. So when the season ends and then they start reporting the OTAs, I think that stench is going to return. There's going to be that doubt, because they're going to see a lot of the same coaching, same front office. I mean, players aren't dumb. They're going to see it. They're like, man, is it going to be like another 2025? Is 2026 going to be like 2024? I think it's almost to the point. May not be fully Zack Taylor's fault, but they just have to just do a complete reboot. Eat $20 million in salary from the coaching staff. Go out, just like colleges do, and find a new staff to come in and re-energize the team. They could. There's coaches out there that could get more out of some of these players. I said it before. There's enough talent on this defense to not be as bad as they've been.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, and let's get to these super chats here. But someone did comment about it. It's when the offense is great, the defense is bad. When the defense is good, the offense is bad. And what is the common denominator there? It's a head coach. The head coach has to be talking to everybody. They say, well, these guys are adults. They're blah, blah, blah. They're professionals. It's fine. Even professionals have to be talked and motivated up. Once in a while, you got to coach them up. You got to give them belief in themselves that maybe they don't have. That's Zach's job, and he's not able to do it across this whole organization, and that's what we need. Let's get to these other super chats here. Chris Rowland says Burrow is the only one that can affect change in this organization. Hopefully, he wants some changes. I don't think you're wrong. I hope he has a conversation, or he's been
That's a
having a
great point.
conversation with Mike Brown, because something's got to be different. And even if he could step out and see the fact that, you know what, Zach never tells me no, and that's what you need sometimes. Zach should be telling Burrow that you need to be under center more. You need to be doing this, and not just bowing down to whatever offense Joe wants to run. Another one here from Philippe from Brazil. Thanks, Philippe. In my trip, great to see the offense against the Jets and Bears, and listen to you driving to Blue Ash. Appreciate that you're listening to us on your trip up. Thoughts on Zach? He's good putting the team in the last place to draft Burrow. That was about it. Well, he's setting us up for another top 5 pick here, and I don't want it, but it seems like that's what he's setting us up for, and we're still not eliminated. But the fear is, and this was talking with my son Austin today, the fear is Burrow comes back, wins us 4 games, and now we get that bounce that takes us out of the top 10 and keeps Zach around. You guys, what do you think on Philippe's comment? Is Zach worth more than getting a first round pick or a number 1 pick every once in a while?
No, I think Zach needs to go. I mean, I think the priority of this team right now has got to be to fire Zach Taylor. I mean, again, I don't know what Mom thinks about this, but for me, this team has screwed up so many draft picks. They did it again this year with Shamar Stewart. He's terrible. Passing on Jahad Campbell is just crazy talk, and especially if you knew you were going to, move on from Jermaine Pratt and Logan Wilson. But so, to me at this point, it's about leadership in the locker room and at the top. And so for me, the priority is to get Zach Taylor. Zach Taylor needs to go. This team, Mon and I have said this until we're blue in the face. This team will never win with Zach Taylor. He is just not a winner. Zach Taylor's not a winner. Joe Burrow is a winner. Zach Taylor is not a winner.
Joe Burrow wins in spite of Zach Taylor. Go ahead.
I think we've reached the major intangible part of the locker room and the organization. I think the damage of the last 3 years is so bad. 3 consecutive years, no playoffs, not officially, out of it this year, but it's almost official. Yeah. 3 consecutive years. The way we've lost, the way things have happened, I just don't. I mean, maybe it's not fully on Zach's shoulders. I get it. I understand. Duke Tobin deserves most of the blame. I really think he does. But still, it's there. The stench is there. I just don't think you can bring them back in the off season, because you know what? The players are feeling it. They won't say it. They're going to be good pros. They're not going to say anything. But, the players know. Yeah. Okay. And they played hard today. I got to give them credit. That's good. That's good coaching. But the intangibles are so bad. I don't think you can bring them back.
And let me say this, because I know I saw a comment early on. We had a couple of people talking about, when are we going to stop giving Joe Flacco a pass? Guys, if you're looking to blame Joe Flacco for these losses, you're crazy. I mean, how can you possibly – the dude is playing through a sprained ACL joint on his throwing shoulder. He is the only reason that we are in these football games. He threw a very bad pick today, but also dislocated a finger on his throwing hand and came back and threw a touchdown and put us back in position to win. He's out there with literally Mitch Tinsley and Yoshivas, without Jamar, with T. Higgins goes down. Guys, if you are looking to blame Joe Flacco, you are barking up the wrong tree. Joe Flacco is not the reason we are losing football games. He is far from the reason that we are losing football games.
I just got to address this. He's been posting quite a bit. Hey, buddy, you obviously don't watch our show a lot. Of course, we blame the defense. You don't watch the Bengals Pulse, because if you did, you would know the number one culprit this year has been the defense.
Yeah.
We talk about it weekly, but you know what? It's also Zack Taylor and his situational play calling is a legitimate subject to talk about also.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in.
So
Joe
just
Flacco,
to
by the way, Joe Flacco has, I think he's thrown 13 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. Joe Flacco is not the reason that he is 1-5. It is our shitty defense and Zack Taylor.
Yeah. Well, I would argue the last 2 weeks he wasn't the Flacco the first few weeks that he came out there.
He's hurt.
This is again, it's on Zach Taylor. You have to recognize that you're the guy that's came in to save your season also has a sprained AC joint. A Burrow coming off of a toe injury is gonna be so much better than Flacco is on a sprained AC joint. He didn't play lights out last week. That's on Zach Taylor. We have some more of the super chats to get here, but I did want to just tie a bow on Philippe's comment because bringing this up is a stark reminder. I do think Burrow has opinions because we look back to that Tennessee Titans game
Good point.
where Zach Taylor was trying to rah Joe Burrow and he said, "No, this is effing embarrassing. This is effing embarrassing." And you saw Joe Burrow pissed off because he demands near perfection or 90% and he wasn't getting it then. You know he's got to be pissed off now.
I wish you could find that clip. You're right. That was from the quarterback episode. He was livid.
They
won a game that was ugly. They really, honestly, they're playing a team that they should beat, 9 out of 10 times, and they barely won. Players aren't dumb. Players know. Players know what's going on.
Every time that happens, if you're that guy, I'm sure you guys have been that guy at work before. Every time that happens and you're getting coached up and you're getting told, "Oh, the things are going to be better. We got it out. We got to win." You know that you won because of heroics and it wasn't a great team. Let's get to these other super chats real quick. Another one here from Curdy says Zach Taylor drank too much of that David Bell Kool-Aid. At this point, I hopefully he would follow David Bell to another team, and I wouldn't be surprised if he goes and ends up being an assistant quarterback coach and wins a Super Bowl somewhere and takes credit for that.
You know what? Listen, I just got to
check, Curdy.
Yeah, thank you so much. I just want to repeat it. Black Monday, there's going to be 6-7 NFL openings, and hypothetically, if Zach Taylor was available, he's not a hot coaching commodity. He's not. And we know he's not. I mentioned this on an episode about 2 weeks ago, and Joe Goodberry mentioned it. The Bengals need to have elite coaching because of the way they're structured, that front office. 100%. They have to get a coach that's cutting edge. And if you really think about their history, Sam Weiss, really invented the no huddle offense that took off. He came in and he did things under, because he coached under Bill Walsh, and he was really, top tier offensive mind, and he brought in Dick LeBeau. Dick LeBeau invented his own blitz defense. All right. So, the Bengals had that magic. They went to the Super Bowl. They had a great run in the 80s. They need to do that again. And I don't know. I just don't think we have it.
But you're right, though. I mean, Sam Weiss, he was exactly what this Bengals team needed. He put his foot in people's asses when it needed to be. And again, I go back to it. My buddy asked me this week. I think Brian Flores I think he is the perfect candidate for this job. I think defensively, he is one of the best defensive coordinators in the NFL. And I think the Bengals need to go away from this whole love of let's hire offensive coordinator, these offensive gurus like a Zach Taylor, and let's bring in a coach that's going to actually hold people accountable. Because again, I know I sound like a broken record, but the other reason why this team is 3-8 is because nobody's held accountable. Zach Taylor's not, Al Golden's not, the players aren't. That includes Geno Stone and the rest of them. Duke Tobin's not. I mean, there's nobody on this team being held accountable for what we have watched. Nobody. The only person that was held accountable was our defensive captain who got benched and then traded. And right now, he is 100 times better than the two linebackers that we've run out there these last couple weeks. So
No,
it's
Chase
just
Brown got held accountable.
I
Brown got held accountable for being mean. But we
yeah.
just want to say thanks to Art Dog for the follow-up super chat there. We do have another one on here as well. But I have a follow-up. If you bring Flores on, are you keeping Dan Pitcher as OC? That makes it a seamless transition. Joe doesn't really have to change offenses.
it's not
Or are
Yeah,
you going to let him bring in whoever he wants?
I
I'm
it,
okay with Dan Pitcher. I mean, I think you still, as a head coach, you want to bring in your own guys, but I think Dan Pitcher has enough respect around the league. I mean, and I think the consistency with Joe Burrow is a good thing as well. I think that does help. But I have no problem with Dan Pitcher staying on as offensive coordinator. I don't want our head football coach to be the offensive coordinator anymore. I don't want to see that. I want to see our head coach being able to manage the game, because Zack Taylor cannot chew gum and walk at the same time. He just can't do it.
Hey, that's Mon's comment.
He's never been able to do that. He's never been able to manage the game and try to call plays. He's just been terrible at it. And he obviously is not going to give up calling plays. Mon, sorry.
No, I just want to say something. Go back. I didn't get a chance to say Flacco. Flacco has a hurt shoulder. He dislocated his finger today. The guy's a warrior.
Yeah,
He hasn't played well the last 2 weeks. They haven't played well since the bye week. But you know what? I mean, if we really expect the Cincinnati Bengals offense to put up 35 to 45 points a game every game of the season, it's not going to happen.
yes.
That's why we talked about that 5 weeks ago. The Bengals offense can't have an off game. They can't struggle because the defense was so bad. Well, guess what? The defense has gotten a little better. We got to give them some credit. They have. But they're now nowhere where they need to be.
Well,
All right.
let's
And so this offense still has to play at a high level to compensate.
let's add to this. Say, okay, today is not about defense, because not only did they only give up 20 points because of that, or 19 points because of that pick six, they also were responsible for the 7 points from Geno Stone's interception. So we can't even say the offense went out here and put up 20 points. The offense put up 13 points.
Yep.
We didn't have that productive game. We had one good drive and one great throw to Mitch Tinsley. So the offense really was stinking it up out there today. I got another super chat here, but I do want to there's an update. Mama T did put on X that T seems to be all right at the moment. So continue prayers for T, but it doesn't sound like it's anything maybe more than a concussion. So hopefully he doesn't have a concussion, but at least he's not, you know, they're not too concerned. So that was a good update. One more super chat here from KP from KC, and let's tie a bow on this. KP says, "What job? It's Zach's job, and we got to watch it." And I think that's the fear here. We all believe that he should be gone at the end of the season, no matter what happens from now on out. But it feels like if we win out, he's gonna just ride that into another season, and I don't want that.
Yeah, and I think too, like again, I think it's the whole thing is scary, right? Because we as Bengal fans, we're rooting for our team to win. I mean, don't root against the Bengals to lose. That's just I don't know. I'm against doing those kind of things. I don't ever want the Bengals to lose football games, but
I don't either.
it's hard though, right, Mon? It's hard because Geno Stone pick six it, and you're like, the first thing I'm thinking of is, oh shit, we're gonna re-sign him to another contract.
No,
It's like you're trying not to root for these guys. Zack Taylor, the same thing. You don't.
No, we're gonna go sign the guy that picked it off against us and ran it back, because that's what the Bengals do. Who if you have a good game against us, we go sign you.
You know what I want? There's some fans out there that I battle with. They're keeping receipts. I want them to come back to me and say, "Mon, look at this. Remember when you said this, when you said that?" I want to be wrong. I want this team to go on a run and go to the playoffs. I want this defense. I want Al Golden to be the best defensive coordinator in football after I said he sucks. I want Zack Taylor to go in the Hall of Fame as the greatest head coach in football when I say they should fire him. I want to be wrong, man. I want to be wrong. I want this team to win. That's all I want. I don't want attaboys from the Bengals social media team. I don't want little perks from from this group over here. I don't want to be in the cool kid club on Twitter. I want this team to win football games. That's all I want, man.
Facts.
I don't care about anything else. I don't care. I love doing this show, man. This show helps me mentally. I love talking to the Bengals. I love you guys. That's why I do the show. I'm not here to get pats. I'm not here to get a phone call from somebody like, "Hey, man, don't be mean towards the Bengals." You know, this I don't give a shit about that. And that's all I want, man. I just want to win.
I want to say this because somebody did talk about, and I will say this because I have to admit this. I've been a Bengal fan since 1981. Only one time in my entire life did I root against them, and it was so hard to do. But that Dolphins game in 2019, somebody put it on there. I will admit to this. I was rooting against the Bengals losing so we could get Joe Burrow. I will admit to that. That is the only game I've ever rooted for the Bengals to lose, and they almost blew it. But that is the only game because somebody had put it on there. I will admit it. 2019 Miami Dolphins game, last game of the year, I rooted against the Bengals. That's the only time since 1981, guys, that I rooted against our team.
I'll say this: when that Hail Mary pass by Tyler Eifert,
oh
I'm not
God,
gonna lie to you, I was like, I wanted them to win because it was exciting.
I'm
glad they didn't.
Oh God. Yeah, I know what you mean. And then it goes into overtime, and they get a 2-point conversion. Then it goes into overtime, and I'm like, you got to be shitting me. This is like the prototypical Bengalism, right? Like making Bengals a verb is that kind of thing. Like you find a way to screw something up that's so easy.
What have we lost 7 of our last 8? Is that what it is?
We
8 of our last 9.
Yeah, we won 2 in a row, and we are now 3-8. So we have lost 7 of our last 8. Yep. And again, you know, I think you could easily go back and look at all of those 8 losses, and you could easily say this team should have 4 or 5 more wins. Like you could legitimately say that. This team has 4 or 5 more wins. And for the Flacco haters on here, the reason why is because of Joe Flacco. I'm just throwing that out there.
Don't ever repeat that. Don't ever repeat what you just said about
what did I just say?
We should have 4 more wins because that's what the front office is going to say.
I know.
We don't need a lot of changes. We don't need to do this. We should have 5 more wins. If it wasn't for the last year, hey man, if Evan McPherson would make a field goal, we would have won 2 more games.
Yeah,
I get that. That is a true statement actually because he did miss some. Yeah. I look at it this way: if we had a good defense, or if we had a bad defense last year, we should have won 3 more games by 15 points.
Isn't it crazy, guys? Isn't it crazy? Like, you know, how bad this is. How bad the Bengals are at complimentary football is almost historical. It's insane to watch this team play week after week. And, you know, today it was the defense and the special teams, right? They were on. Defense, special teams. Money Mac hits a 63-yarder. Special teams is playing out of their mind. Chucky Sizzle has a great kickoff return that got called back on some bullshit holding call. Special teams plays great today. Defense plays good enough to win. Offense plays like shit.
Yeah.
It is almost insane when you go back and look at every single game this year at how bad the complimentary football is. It truly is. It's just as a coach, you know, that everybody's like, well, that's coach speak when you talk about complimentary football. Complimentary football wins you football games. And the reason the Bengals have lost 7 of the last 8 is because there's been 0 complimentary football.
You're right. You're right.
Yep. And that's on Zach Taylor. I know we got to wrap it up here. We got over 500 people in the chat.
Thank you guys for joining.
But it is very frustrating because we should be sitting at least we should have 5 wins. We should be 5 and 6 right now, and 1 game out of first place in this division. We should have beat the Jets. We should have beat the Bears. There's always going to be the shoulda, woulda, couldas. And like Mon said, we got to start whispering those things because Mike and Katie are going to hear that and bring Zack back again. I want to thank everybody all 500 people that are in here. We really appreciate you coming. We're hoping that Thursday night, Thanksgiving into Black Friday, we're going to be able to go live and finally be able to play the winning intro. For God's sake, this is
I
getting a
know,
little
man.
ridiculous.
I'm gonna eat so
Before
much turkey. I'm gonna eat so much turkey Thursday that tryptophan's gonna kick in, and I'm gonna be out cold. I'm not gonna be able to watch you.
listen, if that's what it takes, and I got to do the show live, we will go live in celebration, and I will just create some AI versions of you guys, and I'll talk to them because that's a thing now.
Run the clock. Control the clock. Control the clock.
Hold on. But we did control the clock. Hold on. Before we get out of here, the first quarter, I had 0 text messages because the defense was playing lights out. We started the game with 2 defensive stops. We had the ball almost the whole first quarter. I'm like, did Jake die? I've got no messages from Jake Owens. Oh man,
Hey,
we
hey,
controlled the clock, we dominated on defense, and we still gave up this stinker. God.
hey, we got one more super chat. KP said we got to see it. It's good stuff. That's it.
Okay, thanks for KP for that. That'll be our last one. Watching them live is like watching Major League. Like
Oh, I
my
just
son actually said that he's like, Dad, they do this every time. I can't unplug. Like I'm always like, it's always here. We always have a chance, and we never grab it.
I just watched this movie last week again. I mean, I've watched it 3,000 times. It's one of those movies I could literally turn the volume, put it on mute, and just word for word do the dialogue. And I just go back to that. This is what I think about when I think about the Bengals and the correlation to Major League is when Bob Uecker is I can't remember what he says. I think he says something. He says something on the air. I'm not going to repeat it, but
Willie Mays Hayes.
gosh, he says, "Gosh dang it." He doesn't say that, but he says the other one. And
Strike this guy.
And the color guy, his announcer holds the mic and says, "Man, you can't say gosh dang it on the air." And he goes, "Who gives a shit? No one's listening anyways."
Yeah, I remember that. I just love the show because like Willie Mays Hayes, Joe Boo can't hit who was it? Somebody couldn't hit Serrano couldn't hit a curveball.
Yeah. No, Joe Boo was the voodoo doll.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah, that was his voodoo doll.
Serrano couldn't hit a curveball, and who was the pitcher?
Yeah,
I'll think.
I can't remember what his name is.
Ricky Vaughn.
No, he's thinking of the older guy that puts Crisco.
Oh, that's
on
yeah.
his chest.
No. The young guy was Charlie Sheen.
But he played
No,
Ricky Vaughn.
you're talking about the guy that says, "Are you trying to say Jesus can't hit a curveball or something?"
Yeah.
That guy.
That movie's so good.
It is. I'm getting Nuke LaRouche mixed up with the other movie with Kevin Costner.
Yeah, that's Bull Durham. Yeah,
I gotta get guys.
Listen, if you stay long enough, this will divulge to us talking about movies. We're gonna get out of here. Mon's
All right,
gonna
let's get out of
jump
here.
right now.
Bye, guys.
Jake, take us out of here.
All right. Hey, guys, as always, if you like this podcast, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to this podcast. Make sure you check us out on all the awesome podcast platforms, Apple, Stitcher, and Spotify. As always, if you like this podcast, make sure you give us that 5-star review. Very much appreciate that. Follow Mon on Twitter at TheFireMon. Follow me on Twitter at Coach Jake Owens 9. Follow Eric on Twitter at eFlash2Hs88. Follow the Wednesday Night Podcast Network on Twitter at Wednesday Night Pod. And as always, guys, follow the Bengals Pulse on Twitter. Please, please, please. At the Bengals Pulse, the same on Instagram without the at the Bengals Pulse, and the same on TikTok without the at the Bengals Pulse. As always, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Again, we need it. It's therapeutic. Thank you for the super chats. You guys are just absolutely incredible. We love you guys. We appreciate you. And like Eric said, hopefully we get all that tryptophan in our bloodstream on Thursday night. And we come on here and party after, hopefully, a Bengals win. We will see. The Ravens did not look good today.
Listen, knowing the Bengals, we're going to have that bounce back where we're back in it because we beat the Ravens, and we're going to be on here with that can of Cool Whip doing whippets and back on the bandwagon. It's going to happen.
I will not be doing that. But yes, you and Mon can feel free to do that. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us. We will see you on Thursday. If we don't talk to you before, guys, happy Thanksgiving to everyone out there. Enjoy that time with your families. We love you. We appreciate you. And we'll see you after the game on Thursday. Who Dey?